boys and girls, babies in your diapers. Welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Hoy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have an awesome survival video game to talk about, a book about the last kids on Earth, and we have a totally awesome guest. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Bob Kemper!
Yay! Oh, that was me.
Well, better known as Bouncing Beautiful Bubbly, Bodacious, Bozo, Benny, Bob.
You know where that name came from, don't you?
No.
You didn't hear that story?
No.
Well, it's a fun story. I'm a clown in the Shriners. And I went to a crippled children's hospital one day, and there was a little guy, just not quite as old as you, certainly not as smart, sitting in the corner in a little chair. And there were about 25 other guys out in the room playing and whatnot. I was with 4 other clowns. I walked over to the little guy and I says, "Hi, what's your name?" And he just looked at me. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me. I said, "Do you have a name?" And he nods his head, yes. And I says, "Do you want to tell me your name?" And he shakes his head, no. And then at that moment, a little girl comes up to me. And she starts pulling on my clown outfit. I thought she was going to pull my clown clothes off. She was pulling on them so hard. And I says, "Yes." And she's, "Mr. Clown, Mr. Clown, Mr. Clown." I says, "Do you know this young man's name?" And she says, "No." I said, "Would you like to know his name?" She said, "No." I didn't know where to take it from there. Little guy, he starts, I says, "My name is Bouncing Beautiful Bubbly Bodacious Bozo Benny Bob." And the little girl looks at me startled. But the little boy looks at me even more startled. And all of a sudden, guess what he started doing?
What?
Talking. He said, "Hey, Mr. Clown, where did you get such a crazy name?" And I said, "Because I like being crazy." And he says, "Oh, this thing is crazy." I said, "Do you think you can say the name over?" And he said something like Bouncing Bubbly Boo Boo Za Blue 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 Blah Blue. I says, "No, this Bouncing Beautiful Bubbly Bozo Benny Bob." And he said, "Well, what about the Bodacious?" And I said, "Good catch." So we started with that, and like I said, there were about 25 kids in that room. By the end of the day, we stayed and played with those children in the Shriners Hospital for 4 hours. At the end of the day, all the kids knew my name. And so when we're standing at the door waving goodbye, the kids are saying, "Bye, Bouncing Beautiful Bubbly Bodacious Bozo Benny Bob." And I turned to all the other clowns. I says, "And they don't even know your name." It was a crazy time and a lot of fun.
Wow. Well, today we're going to start off with a video game of the week, and this is going to be a crash.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Crashlands. This is a game on the Epic platform. It was made by
Butterscotch Shenanigans.
Well, this is a very different kind of game. It's a building style of games with dodge and slash combat. It's available for $20. First off, I got into the game and it was kind of cool. And I pressed this button called play. And I got into a spaceship. And this bully blows up our ship. Then we went into an escape pod. And then I crash landed onto his planet. And it was a robot that gives you instructions like a tutorial. So you start off collecting some grass and making floors out of them. And then you build a sawmill, and then you are allowed to craft fighting tools and saws. I even got to build my own armor. With the weapon, I can slay monsters and use their skins to make a skinnery and kill more and more monsters to get better gear. There are lots of monsters to kill and use their parts. You can kill butterflies, which glow in the dark, and glittopus, which looks like floating octopuses. And there are the tartu, they look like rocks with pimples on them. And there's a zug, and they look like turtles with only 2 legs. And well, my favorite is the first monster you might see, which is the Wampid. These guys stomp on you and you have to dodge them.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a fast runner, I take it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, these monsters got longer legs than you?
They only have one leg. Well, I give Crashlands 10 out of 10 stars because you get to explore and find cool loot and then craft stuff out of that loot. And instead of killing people, you only have to kill monsters. I even got my mom and dad to play this game.
Really?
It's that fun.
Which one was the big winner, your mommy or your daddy?
Dad.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org. The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of our dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom Braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering, to trophies and awards. They can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373.
Now, some of the book of the week, The Last Kids on Earth. This book was written by Max Brailer. Let me read to the back of the book. In fact, Bob, would you like to do the honors?
Well, thank you so very kindly. I certainly would appreciate that opportunity. Let me see here. I'm not sure if my arms are long enough. It's been 42 days since the monster apocalypse hit town, and pretty much everyone ran away or got zombified. Average 13-year-old Jack Sullivan is holed up in his treehouse, which he's armed to his teeth with catapults and a moat, not to mention video games and an endless supply of Oreos and Mountain Dew scavenged from abandoned stores.
This is an AR book. It is worth 3 full points and is rated for 4th grade and first month. This is a great series about the last kids alive in apocalypse. Well, I got this book for Easter from the Easter Bunny. But you can either wait a year and ask for it, or go to your local library. So this story is about a 13-year-old boy named Jack that lives in a city during a zombie apocalypse. He has a license to kill monsters and zombies, that is. He used his treehouse as his main base and knew that he had to get some friends to help. First, Jack found Quint, his best friend, to help him. Quint helped him find Dirk and then found June. Now, they got a team to battle the zombies. But wait, you need weapons. They made some cool stuff in the treehouse, and they had 2 catapults and some crossbows, which is so cool. Now they have personal weapons as well. They have a bat, they have a spear, and they have a hockey stick and a potion. They made tools to make their lives better. They made a screaming machine out of a loudspeaker and a cell phone with a timer. And they also made power using a treadmill with a zombie on it chasing brains. Now, isn't that cool? My favorite thing is that they made this cool truck called Big Mama. And they had bottle rockets on the back, a skull on the front, and lots of Pop-Tarts for snacks. And a lot of storage space for loot and storage. Now, the battle was amazing, but I can't tell you all of it because I want you to be able to read the book yourself. And I really enjoyed this book. I give this book 10 out of 10 stars because it was an amazing book, and that I like that they had a ping pong table and at the treehouse. And they always make time to play video games and ping pong. And there are 5 other books in the series, and I hope to find the rest from whatever holiday is next.
Wow! I gotta get my hands on this book. I'm gonna leave here and sit down and read it immediately.
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855. See,
TiberiusSmithLaw.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
That website again is CWSmithLaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
And now it's time for the interview of an interesting person. Today's guest is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing, bouncing, bubbly, beautiful, bodacious, Bozo, Baby Bob.
That was very good. You remembered all of it. That's unusual for somebody who's only heard my name one other time before.
Yes.
Yeah, it was quite unusual. I'm very impressed.
Well, Bob started as a clown at the Children's Hospital and now is a business owner.
Yes, I didn't actually start out as a clown in Children's Hospital. I started out as a clown in the hospital I was born in. And when I came out, all the nurses stood around and said, "My goodness, look how funny that kid is." And there we go. I got my first audition as a clown in a hospital the day I was born. That's where it started. It all started there.
So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
Well, I tell you what, this is a very interesting show. It's a little bit different. I have been on radio shows before, and this one's just a tad bit different because I've never had the person that was interviewing me stand up next to me. I'm enjoying the show a great deal.
So to jump right in, I was told that you do a lot of different jobs, from being a clown at a hospital to carpet cleaning and to making roller skates. But what got you started wanting to do more than one thing?
Well, that's really a great question. I think the mother of necessity was involved. You see, when I was going to college, the school that I went to, which was an aeronautical university and was quite expensive because along with taking classes, I was also learning how to fly airplanes. I needed to make some extra money. So I started up a little carpet cleaning business, and the little carpet cleaning business grew because I was learning how to do something that nobody else knew how to do. I was dyeing the people's carpeting on the floor in their home. My very first customer says, "Can you recolor my lime green carpeting where it's all faded out in front of the window?" And I said, after I thought for a few minutes, "Sure, but I have to go get some more of chemical." And I ran off to the grocery store. I got a whole bunch of lime Kool-Aid. I put that in my carpet cleaning machine. I re-dyed her carpet. I stained it with Kool-Aid. She was excited, and my career for doing carpet cleaning and dyeing took off. So the Kool-Aid can really do a good thing. It's all in the Kool-Aid, but it starts in the noggin, the place where imagination creates what it is that you want to have in your life.
Yes, it does.
It does.
So what was interesting about carpet cleaning?
What was interesting about it? Well, I enjoyed the people that I met. It was a lot of fun being able to throw out a helping hand and to really help people get out of the muck and mire, no pun intended, and the misery of their life by helping clean up their act, so to speak, providing them a clean, safe environment to work in. So that was actually my intention besides making a lot of money.
So what is the best part about being a hospital clown?
Oh, well, I think that putting a smile on people's face when they're in sort of like in a hard way is the greatest joy you could ever have. I had the good fortune to be a clown in quite a big venue of possibilities of places to go to, hospitals all around the country. I was on the New Year's Eve parade. I used to march down, I forget what the name of the street is in Miami, every New Year's Eve at nighttime and throw out candy, and the children would stay up, the ones who weren't afraid of me. because some people are afraid of clowns. But I was a happy clown, and I always tried to make everybody smile and laugh. So watching people smile and laugh as a result of my antics was really probably the greatest reward that I got for being a clown, because nobody ever gave me anything. The only thing I got to do was keep and eat some of the candy I was passing out. I didn't give all the candy away.
So what was the hardest part about being a clown?
The hardest part about being a clown, getting my makeup on. You have to. I had to put all this white stuff all over my face, then I have to draw these eyebrows all over me, and then I have to draw this big red nose, and then the big red lips, and then I have to get all that stuff and not make it all run together. Sometimes I just look like a bunch of melted crayons.
So you made your own roller skates. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh yes, roller skates. That was so much fun. My business was a rather lucrative business. I had many franchises around the world, and one of the franchises was out in California. I went out to see a young man who had he wasn't so young. He had two young boys who did not want to work in his cleaning service company. They wanted to manufacture roller skates, and so he was helping them manufacture these roller skates, and they were putting them on tennis shoes, and they were selling them on the boardwalk in California, right at the beach. I said, that's a great idea. We've got places in Florida where we could do this too. So I had him set me up with all the materials. I came back to Miami and I started manufacturing tennis shoes on roller skates, and we were having a rolling good time. I mean, things were really rolling. It was going so fast that all of a sudden I've had all these people wanting to buy my company because they wanted to manufacture roller skates too. So after a while I sold that business, but it was a pretty fast-paced business, if you know what I mean.
Well, later you started your own radio show, like me. Was that fun?
Well, certainly it was fun. It was rewarding as much as anything. The name of my radio show was Achieving Excellence, and I would have incredibly well-known and responsible business people on the show who were teaching and coaching individuals how to achieve their most desired goal, their greatest heights in life, whether it was in their personal life or in their professional life. So these people were on the show every day. The Brian Tracys, the Les Browns, the Dr. Dennis Whaley's, the Tony Alexander, we're all on the show. And the great part about having the radio show is, just like you and I, you get to listen to my entire message. I got to listen to all of these great speakers and orators' message when I was on the show, unlike the people who are driving down the street who may have to turn off the radio or only got to hear part of it. So I considered that program and my radio show as some of the best bread for my head I ever had.
So, what was the hardest part about doing your own radio show?
That's a great question. There were, I would have to say that probably coordinating and scheduling with my guests, making sure that they were there for me when I needed to have them, because a lot of them were done on the telephone. And I would call from the radio station, hook up with them, and sometimes the reception would be a little bit poor, and that would create a challenge.
Yes, it would.
And sometimes they forgot that they were supposed to be on my show. And so then what do? My goodness, I have to sort of like ad-lib. And I say, well, Joe Schmo was going to talk about this, that, and the other thing today. I happen to have heard some of his stuff, and I just like to share it with you from my own point of view. But I ended every one of my shows with a special message. It went something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you one thing. If we don't keep following all those sheep in front of you on your way home. Turn left at the next intersection. Travel down a road less known to you. That's where your greatest opportunity will lie.
Wow.
So everyone would listen to that. One day, a lady called me up and she said, Bob, I have to tell you, you're one of the two most important men in my life. I said, wow. That's pretty impressive. To what do I owe this honor? And she said, well, I listen to your show every night on the way home. Thank you so very much for bringing so many wonderful speakers. But your message telling me to take a different road home, one night I did just that. It so happens I'm a vegetarian. And when I was going down the street, I saw a vegetable stand along the side of the road that I'd never seen before. I thought I'd better stop in and get some groceries, she said to herself. Pulled up to the stand, walked inside. There was this charming little man who was the farmer who grew all the vegetables, and they were all organic, which really inspired her. She bought a bunch of vegetables from the farmer, and last week they got married. So she said, you're the second most important man in my life because you ran me straight to the most important man in my life by taking and traveling a road less known.
Wow. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, of all the jobs you have done, which is your favorite?
That's a great question. I think teaching flying. I used to teach people how to fly, and I found that to be incredibly rewarding from an emotional standpoint because I would help people reach past their fears, to reach out and try to achieve something that they thought maybe was difficult, but once they got in the plane and we went through all of the pre-flight procedures and talked about the airplane, what it was going to be doing and how it performed and why it was as easy as driving their car or riding their bicycle, maybe even easier once they learned how to do it. Then we would get in the plane and they would actually understand what we were trying to do, and that was a rewarding experience. Seeing people smile and laugh and get kind of giddy and, oh baby, I landed that and I greased it in, and all the nomenclature that goes along with flying the airplane, they would start learning and talking that way, just like you as a radio talk show host. You start talking the lingo. Well, they talk the lingo too, and that was fun teaching the lingo for flying.
So what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
What is the one question you forgot to ask me? I would have to say, how do I still remain so good looking after all these years being as old as I am?
Well, how do you look so good looking when you've been living all these years?
I find that I stay entertained by talking with brilliant young men like yourself, which inspires me to keep putting on all the face cream I can find. So you'll want to play with me instead of one of the other young kids.
Maybe or maybe not.
Yeah, I can get that.
It's a maybe. Okay.
It's a maybe. Okay.
It's a maybe. Thank you, Bob, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Math Corners? What's going to happen on Math Corners? Do I need to have my slide rule? Yes, I absolutely can.
Yay.
Do you know what a slide rule is?
No.
Okay, well, I don't know what a computer is either.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank Buggy Creek Airboat Adventures for being one of our sponsors. I got to go on an airboat and saw a real gator. I even got to go to the gem mine and mine for some gems. We ate a steak dinner at the restaurant and even got some gator bites. If you want to have a blast with the entire family, I suggest you go to www.bcairboats.com right now. Get your tickets today. The website again is bcairboats.com. Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
Are you frustrated with your computer? Tired of waiting for the computer to let you get your work done? Having an IT professional available when you need him can be invaluable to your business. With a Your Computer Solutions monthly service plan, you can enjoy error-free computing and get your tasks done when you want them done. Got a virus or malware warning? Call YCS and let them remotely solve the issue for you. Computer running slow? Give YCS a call and they will remotely fix it. When? Well, right away. On average, our clients are back up and running within 10 minutes minutes of their call. If you want your computer to run smoothly month after month, just get the Your Computer Solutions monthly service plan. Your Computer Solutions is there when you need them. Call us today at 407-826-0810. I repeat, 407-826-0810. Emergency repair when you need it. Call us, 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Well, today we're going to talk about prime numbers. So I've been learning about cool numbers, and well, my dad showed me about prime numbers. Now, prime numbers are whole numbers greater than 1 with only 2 factors, 1 and itself. So it is only divisible by itself. Well, the first 10 prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 11, 13, 17, 19, and 23, and 29. Most people find it easy to remember 2, 3, and 5. But because all even numbers are divisible by 2, all even numbers besides 2 cannot be prime. This also means that 2 is the only even prime number. Also, because they must be whole numbers greater than 1, and that removes all negative numbers from being prime. Now, 5 is the only prime number that ends in 5. Because any number that ends in 5 is also divisible by 5, and therefore you'll have more than 2 factors. Now you can find all of the prime numbers to 100 just making a 10 by 10 chart. In the first row you cross off 1 because prime numbers must be greater than 1. And then you keep 2 and then cross off all of the other even numbers. Then you keep 3 and then cross off all the multiples of 3. And then you keep 5 and cross off all the numbers that end in 5. And finally, you keep 7 and cross off any multiples of 7. All of the rest of the numbers not crossed off will be prime. So only one row will show you all of the prime numbers all in the other row. Isn't that cool?
That's very, very cool.
So
I was a lot older than you before I learned that.
Okay. Well, so Bob, do you now know all about the prime numbers?
Do I know all about all the prime numbers? Well, I understand and know about all the prime numbers. But if you ask me, could I rattle them off? The answer is absolutely not.
I can't. I feel you. I feel you.
You do. Good.
Yes, I do. Well, thank you so much, Bob, for your help with Math Corners.
Truly my pleasure. I learned.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of a Lion. It stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability. This week we're going to talk about obedience. For me, I think obedience is being fully committed to doing what is pleasing to God. The qualities of obedience are compliance with a good attitude and respect for the laws. You know when someone is obedient when they follow instructions willingly and truly. Well, Mother's Day was here, and my dad asked me to get him up early so that I can make breakfast for her. We made it together, and I also helped with dinner. Now, my dad also stayed with her the entire day and made sure that she did not need anything all. So I was obedient to my dad by following all of his instructions. My dad was obedient in the fact that he wanted to do whatever my mom wanted all day, and that he did that. So, Bob, did you see or use obedience out of
Obedience. Obedience, in another sense of the word, is abiding by the norms of life.
Okay.
And I try to do that.
Wow. Well, of all the Heart of the Lion virtues, which is your favorite?
I'd have to say obedience. I like sharing, and I like being responsible, and obedience to the norms in life, the laws of society, of the attitudes and the philosophies of our family and friends, is where I really cherish and where I really strive to be.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Bob Kemper for being on my show.
Rah, ray, ho, whoopee-ki-yay! What a great day to be on your show. Thank you so very much for having me here today. I've enjoyed it immensely, and I look forward to the next show that I'm going to be able to listen to somebody else make a fool of themselves.
Okay. And be sure to listen to us next week on the Tiberius Show, where there has
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer Joseph Boy. Production editor Pierre Laguerre. Green Room manager Danny Boy. And your program host, Tiberius Boy. The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.